Hey guys, what's up? My name is Art. Got inspired to do a video today. Okay, what happened? Is I was inspired. This video was inspired by what happened to me this morning. Oh, nothing bad happened. Nothing bad at all. Nothing bad at all. What happened was I went to breakfast this morning. Like I usually go to breakfast, and and they had the radio playing, which is fine. Which is good. They had at this diner. They had this radio playing on this this radio station around Detroit. And and every day they do like a scam or a phone scam kind of thing. Not a bad phone scam, like a practical joke kind of shit, scam joke kind of thing. And they have this thing called deal breakers, which is kind of weird. I was like, huh. Well, we all know what deal breakers are. We all know what it are. It's something that happens that say, I don't want to deal with this person. Some people, their deal breaker is single mothers. Well, you might find this beautiful woman. But once you find out that she's a single mom, that's it, done. Next, whatever. Oh, this person don't have a job. Next, this person can't deal with me. Next, okay. So what happened is that according to, I was listening to this, and the story is kind of interesting. This guy, now the thing is, this guy and this girl, they're dating. They're mid 30s. They're mid 30s, okay? They've been dating for a couple of months. Things have been going very well. Things have been going very well. So what he does, he invites her to his place. Tea's too hot still. So he invites her to his place. So they go to his place. And what happens is she realizes that the guy that she's dating for the last couple of months that she likes a lot lives in an apartment above their parents' garage, above his parents' garage. So, like for example, they have a garage and they park the cars, and I guess there's enough space where they could have like a living space. So that's where he lives. So technically, he lives on the same property, but next door. So all of a sudden, she during the conversation, she finds out that sometimes his mother, he has a job, but he doesn't pay rent, or he pays a little bit of rent. His mother sometimes cooks and cleans for him, does his laundry and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden, after that night, she's like, I can't deal with this. It's a done deal. We're done. And of course, he was inquiring. He was asking why, and she goes, because you're not independent. You live with your mother. Your mother takes care of you. And so she breaks up with the guy. That was her deal breaker, that she has to be that her man had to be independent. Now, I take that scenario. Now I look at that. I was like, Now she has that right to have that as a deal breaker. Okay, but let's look at the reality of let's look at the reality of the situation. We all heard about the empty nest syndrome, and a lot of millenniums. millennials lost their jobs, lost their livelihoods, and they have to move back home with mom and dad. Okay? Sometimes that happens. Is it their fault that happened? Okay, fine. But the thing is that one, that means he's saving his money. The parents' house is paid for. He has a decent car. You know, he has a decent job. He just stays with his parents. Now, for example, I've heard a lot of Arab people of the Arab culture. They do that. They live with their parents until it's time for them to move on to their own thing. Whatever that is. Sometimes marriage. Sometimes Italians do that. Their sons will live with the parents until they get married or whatever. Okay. I mean, take a look at that. That kind of happens. And so what happened is she decided she breaks off with the guy because of that. Okay. Guess what? Was she in the wrong? No, she wasn't in the wrong. But the problem is that she couldn't overlook that. But, you know, in his mind, hey, did he do anything wrong? No. And then what happens? When I heard that, I flashed back to stuff that I went through. I was dating people, and every now and then I date. I find someone to date every now and then. It's not like I'm dripping with women all over. It's not like I have a Rolodex of women, like, you know, nothing like that. Every now and then I might have 2 or 3 women I might interact with, and then within months of me interacting with these women, they fall through, or they try to like. All of them had one thing. All of them said the one thing to me. They said, "Art, would you ever move into your own place?" And the answer was, "Yeah." Okay, cool. Yeah, I could move into my own. Yeah, I would love to move into my own place. But then again, I thought about it because in their mind, by me living, see, one, this is my bedroom. So obviously, I don't live in an apartment. I live in my mother's house. This is my mother's house. Her name is on the deed. I live with my mother, but I don't live off my mother. Excuse me. My job, I make 5 figures. I make a mid-range 5 figures. Okay, you figure that out for yourself. Some people make high 5 figures, and some people make low 5 figures. Some people make 6. Okay, I don't make 6. The only way for me to make 6 is if I work 10 hours of overtime every week. If I work 10 hours of overtime every week for the whole year, that'll be the only time I'll make 6 figures. Okay, but that don't happen. But see, the thing is, I paid my mother's mortgage. Her mortgage is almost $1,000 a month. So what happens is, I pay my mom's mortgage. Her and her husband pays for the lights, electricity, gas, and food. Which food goes quick here. Okay, so, but here's the thing. But because I don't have my own place, that makes me less desirable to a lot of women. And if that's the case, then that means these women was not worth my damn time in the first place. In my opinion. A lot of the women I came across with, they live with other people. They're staying with their cousins, they're staying with their relatives. They may or may not work. But they have the nerve to ask me, I should get my own place. Why they say that? Because if I had my own place, they will commit to me. There's a meme that I've seen a lot. Oh my gosh. I wonder if I could show it to you. And hopefully oh, believe me, these are kind of funny. Yeah, I'm spending too much time looking for this stupid meme, but once you see this meme, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay, this is the this is the closest thing I could find. This is the closest thing I could find. But the thing is, it has language that I don't really like to use. Okay? Now, I want you to look at this. And the fun thing is, now, if you saw that very clearly, that re- that that reminds me of most of the women that I've dated. Because what happens, they date me until they find that one person that had their own house, their own car, and whatever, and then they go. But anyway, but like I said, this I find this kind of funny. It's kind of hilarious because that's my niece yelling. Because it's kind of funny because it's like whether I live in my own place or that. If I lived in my own place, do you think I actually have the time or energy to deal with you? Not you specifically, but another woman successfully. Do you think I would have? I mean, you gotta think about it. By me living here, like I said, I don't have to buy a lot. I don't have to buy a lot of like. I don't have to worry about electricity and all this other stuff. So that means I have a little bit more money in my pocket to spend on discretionary shit. Not giving money out or anything like that, but you know what I mean. But you know, like when I say when I hear stuff like this, here's the thing. Person X, they say, oh, you know, because they're thinking, well, hey, I could stop living where I'm living, paying rent. I'm moving with this guy, and he loves me so much. We'll get together, and it's like, do I really want that, or do I want my own space? At least here, I can do whatever I want. 90% of the time, my mother cooks. Okay, so I don't cook. And 90% of the time, she cleans. That's fine. This is her house. I just pay for it. 20% of not like 10% of the time, I do the cooking and I do the cleaning. I, that's 10%, but I pay for the house. Love that irony. But anyway, so when I heard that this morning when I heard that story on the radio this morning, and I look up and I was like, you know what? You found yourself a decent guy, but because of his circumstances and his and you don't really want to change the circumstances, you just want to write him off. That was your dropping off point. And one of the things, that lady, that was her choice. You can't deny that. But you gotta look at it. But I look at it this way. Sometimes you have to have a. Sometimes you have to have that breaking point. Sometimes you have to have that. But other times, it's just too superficial. But anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know what your breaking point would be, or your or whatever I called it before. I can't remember. What do you think that Hey, you know, imagine if you. I mean, would you still be able to have a date people if you stay with one of your relatives or something like that? If a person if a person you're dating, if they was living with one of their relatives or something like that, would that be a turn off for you? Let me know. All right, talk to you later.